Hey guys, it's your girl Nylah. What's good? Sound check. Let me know if you guys hear me okay and if the sound quality is decent. Let me know. Okay, so as the room fills up, I just want to say thank you and welcome to another Nylah Says broadcast. If you are already in the room, please hit that like button and share this video. Today we will be discussing colorism and the fact that some, but not all, lighter skinned women, women my complexion and lighter, are often perpetuating colorism and even benefited and probably secretly enjoy it. So my guest today is going to be dark-skinned activist Rashida Marie Strober. She is the undisputed queen and the first dark-skinned activist. Okay, so you're gonna have to respect the queen. Okay, I had to learn to say that at its full capacity because when I first saw her on Facebook, I was like, what is this girl talking about? What is she saying? And she went on with her spiel, and I was like, well, you know what? I get it. And a lot of people dismiss what she's saying and maybe take it off as somewhat comical, but she's dead ass serious, and I think also well within her rights to have the personality that she has about her dark skin activism. So I'm going to holler at a few of you guys in the chat while we wait for Miss Rashida, which I've sent her link. Okay, so she did say she's coming now, so she should be joining any minute now, and we'll get it cracking. So let me see who's in the chat room today with us. And let me know how the sound quality is, guys. Let me know. Let me know. Okay. Let's see here. Guys, let me know. Okay. Hi, Houston, Texas, baby. Queen Unicorn. Pretty damn gangster. What's up, Chica? All Substance. Indigenous Afro. Elsie George. Eve. Ate the Fruit of Lies. Good morning, honey. Sabrina Jones. What's good? Leslie P. Bayou Bunny, what's good? Rashida is on her way. Greetings, Soul Alchemy. I love that name. That's this. Rochelle Rose. King McD, hey there. DH Designs Online, hey there. Matt D, what's up? Hola, ¿cómo estás? All right. Julie. Y'all such a friendly chat. I mean, I don't know what I would do if I opened up this live and people were saying shit like, fuck you, It's wonderful. Everybody says hello, peace, and greetings. Isn't that great? Don't tell me black folks don't know how to act like they got some damn sense. Wonderful. Everybody says hello. All right. It sounds like our girl is here.
What's up?
What's up, girl? Come on in the room, baby girl. Come on in the room. Look at you. Looking all dark and beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Oh, my God. I was just told I was unfeminine and ugly on Sunday, but it's all good.
Girl boom. Girl boom. We know better. We know better. We know what's real up in here.
Yes. Thank you for having me on. Thank you. I really appreciate this. This is going to be fun.
No problem. I'm glad that you decided to come. So as you were saying, watching you up there that day, I was cringing because I could feel your frustration. And I think that sometimes when people are right on the panel or they're right in the midst of all the chaos, they can't really see what's really going on.
Right.
But when I was just sitting there listening to it, like I told you, we were sitting here listening. I was like, oh my God, like, don't they see that they're completely perpetuating everything that she was saying? And it came to the point where it's like you were made to be the misfit. And I just wanted you to have your say and explain, in your words, what it is that you're about, what your goals are. And then I want to ask some questions because there were some things that I really felt were given to you at an unfair, a really bad disadvantage because there's a lack of understanding, I believe, in what your message is and what you're trying to convey.
Right. First off, again, thank you for having. I'm making sure. But you know, I'm a very sensitive person. Let me just start off with saying that first of all. I'm like super sensitive. And I want to just start off with leading out with the guy on the panel. I can't think of his name, but when he made that comment comparing me to the light-skinned woman, Nicole, that was on there, that like just came out of left field. And I was like, I didn't see that coming. But what that did was that took me back in the mindset of even, let me tell you, going back to elementary school. And some people say, you know what, you need to get over that stuff from elementary school. Let me tell you, it's all a part of your makeup and your psyche. So it took me all the way back to elementary school, to middle school, and to high school, where it was really the worst, where the black man was always choosing the light-skinned woman over the dark-skinned woman. So this man, he said that she was more feminine than me. Essentially, he was saying that she was better than me. Mm-hmm. And that right there, I'm sensitive. And everybody knows this that's watching me. That's really what really kind of set me off. Because it just took me back in that mind. I'm thinking to myself, what is wrong with this man? Is he not listening to what I'm actually saying? Like you're asking me right now, you're asking me to really go in depth and explain it. I don't think, looking back, that some of them really wanted to listen. I don't think that they really cared. I think that they already had their own preconceived notions about how colorism, I call it darkism, impacts Black women. And they just weren't willing to listen to or take, you know, even take the side of, because clearly this guy took the side of the light-skinned woman, Nicole, that was on there. And I was just like, oh my God, I'm living my high school days out all over again. The only difference was when I was in high school, I know y'all might find this hard to believe, I was more quiet and I would just take people's shit. I wouldn't say anything. They would call me all kind of names and I just like cower. The difference is now, you say something to me now, you're going to get checked. It could go right. Who knows? Because I didn't see that. I just felt like it came out of left field and I wasn't expecting that. And what he did was he opened up the floodgates for the rest of them to come in. And
yeah, because they started just coming.
They started, it's like they was like, okay, we know where Rashida coming on here. She say make one false move and one person get it. Okay, we all coming. And Nicole, I felt like, and I'm a pretty good judge of character. I try not to like prejudge people, but I could truly say I felt like after listening to her, she wasn't real sincere about it. I saw her over there smirking and laughing. Mm-hmm. She wasn't really, you wasn't really sincere. You came on there and then you jumped on their bandwagon and you tried to do it in a slick way by telling me that you can sideways offer me some of your femininity classes. And I'm like, what?
Right.
What? You're not finna check me like this. Because let me tell you something. I know what y'all see on camera, but in my everyday life, I was married for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And I'll tell you right now, I was married to a Jamaican. You're not gonna be married to a Jamaican man if you don't have some kind of level of, I wanna say, submissiveness or femininity or a cooperation. Okay, I've never had a problem with that. Honestly, I never had a problem in a relationship with a man, because my father, he was in the Nation of Islam for 30 years. God bless him. My father taught me how a Black woman is supposed to interact with a Black man. He truly taught me that. So I have a great respect for Black men. So this woman coming at me, feeling like she could check me because she wants to jump on the cool bandwagon with these other people attacking me, I felt like that was just horrendous. Like that was so uncalled for from her. And I felt like she was not being honest.
Well, yeah, I kind of peeped that, and I peeped that from a lot of women my complexion and lighter, and a lot of YouTube personalities or social media personalities who are leading what they call the femininity movement. And I kind of view it as kind of predatory because, like you were saying, a lot of what they're saying is masculine was you asserting yourself. Was you know, not taking, you know, your bullshit. And as one of my patrons and I were talking the other day, Harriet Tubman, would y'all call her mad? She couldn't have, you know, gathered together those people and got them together if she was demure, passive, and quiet. And what I find really disingenuous about Nicole, I mean, you guys are just gonna have to go to her page or whatever. But just in my personal opinion, and I don't I don't know no other way to be but how I am. So I'm just going to say how I felt about it. I think it's bullshit. It is somewhat of a knockoff of the Ro Alori Kutno lady who does the wife school, except the difference is Ro Alori Kutno is actually a little bit more polished. And I feel like this woman saw what everybody else see is that, you know, we're under attack by so many different ways as Black women. We're being attacked. We, you know, everything about us is under the microscope, while Becky and everybody else gets a pass. And she took the opportunity to me, what I call playing the Becky. Because like Becky, when you see men behaving badly, or when, like, if you go to these women's pages, a lot of the times when they're teaching femininity, their audience is mostly males, and generally men, like, I know my man wouldn't be interested. You know what I'm saying? And like men like my brothers, my uncles, my fathers, they wouldn't be interested. And these are like men who don't have problems getting women. These are men who don't have, you know, any, you know, issues getting women to cooperate with them and all that kind of time. But she attracts broken men who have had this kind of problem. So essentially she's building a brand centered around herself, playing the Becky while knowing that these men are doing and saying harmful things, but acting like it's not a problem. You know how like back in slavery, white women will watch their men do what the fuck ever, and they would still stand by them and not correct it and act like everything was cool. I felt like that's what she was doing. Because just as a sister, I'm not going to watch a sister behave badly and agree with it, but I'm also not going to sit there and act like I'm not seeing what I'm seeing. Because sometimes men are oblivious to how we feel about things, you know what I'm saying? And they may not know, but women, we have a certain amount of intuition. So we know when there's some unfairity being you know, displayed, and we know when the woman is just being misunderstood. But I felt like she was, you know, doing like a lot of lighter skinned women will do. And, you know, the whole Becky thing, sitting there soaking up the negative energy and using it to kind of uplift herself while shitting on you. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, you are a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
You have gorgeous skin. You have beautiful, I mean, you're gorgeous. And I'm not just saying that. I've always said that you were gorgeous. And she, you know, if anything, she has what the Western standard of beauty for a Black woman is, and is to have lighter skin. But on the surface, it's like she can't even hold the candle to you. So the only way that she would be able to compete with women as beautiful as you are is to play in on the I'm lighter skinned and I'm better because I can behave like a white woman. Because, and that's another thing, a lot of times people believe that how white women behave, that is a standard for femininity. And there is, white European femininity is not the same as Black femininity. Would you agree?
Right, absolutely. And just to sort of backtrack a little bit, dark skin activism, let me just say this, in terms of this sincerity thing. And this is the problem that I kind of had with Nicole, because I felt like at some point when she started trying to check me and teach me how to be feminine, I feel like that's leading into you trying to use the dark-skinned woman's struggle to enhance what you have, or to find a market for what you have. And I have a problem with that, because let me just say this. Back in 1998, dark skin activism, I am the world's first dark skin activist. I created dark skin activism, but this is the most important thing. I created dark skin activism out of my hurt and pain, and where it really comes from, and I've always been honest about this, is to get the attention of the Black man. Growing up in school, my father was a great man. He loved me and he cared a lot about me, and he saved me from hating Black men, to be honest. But when I started to go out into the larger world, I didn't get the same love. I was always called ugly, blacky, you know, spot, every name you could think of imaginable, for being dark-skinned, nappy-headed, and real skinny, because that's how I used to look. And I hated it for so long. But the thing is this, I was looking for somebody. I remember I joined different Black empowerment groups. I was a member of the Uhuru movement for a long time. And one of the reasons why I joined that movement is because I was looking for Black people to sanction the beauty of dark-skinned women, particularly the Black men. And I looked for a long time for somebody to do what I'm doing now. And the point that I'm making is it came out of sincerity, of organic sincerity that you can't duplicate. So I feel that what's going on right now, and I don't have a problem with people having their brands and all this kind of stuff, but with the advent of social media, I feel like people are not being genuine. And from day one, I've been super genuine. You understand? In my community, I have worked in the Uhuru movement. My father was in the Nation of Islam. I worked in my community for years helping Black people of all different colors. You come to St. Petersburg and ask these people and they're going to tell you that's what it is. Social media came along. I took what I was doing, the activism that I was doing regarding, in general, Black activism, but then I started to just focus on only dark skin, because the truth is I got tired of Black people, especially the people in my family who were perpetuating darkism, treating my lighter skin relatives better than me, and they know they was doing it. We used to get into drag down arguments about this, where one of them used to kick me out their house. They said, I don't want to hear about this dark skin stuff. You just jealous, Rashida. This is crazy. This is in your head. I said, okay. Everybody that's saying that I'm crazy, I'm going to keep doing what I do. I'm going to write my books. I'm going to start lecturing in the community. I speak in schools to the children. I'm going to do my plays. And I did this for free for years before social media even came about, because I had a burning desire to understand, why am I being treated differently in my family and in the larger society for having something that I cannot control? So that's where dark skin activism comes out of. Now I have to say this person's name because I got to be honest. Cola Booth, I know some of these people may not like Cola Booth, but the truth is Cola Booth in the 1990s, she was advocating for dark skin. She was. And she's the only other person after I started doing dark skin activism that I saw, because I kept looking, that was saying, this is wrong. You can't discriminate against dark skinned women because they're dark skinned. You know, it came out of an organic thing. So with Nicole, I felt like, you trying to come at me because you think that this is something that you could use to enhance your brand. Don't come at me like that. You gotta.
That's what I felt. And then especially, I think she's about my age, or at least someplace close. So, Rashida, I think we lost your sound, honey.
Uh-oh.
Okay, now you're back now. Wait, lost you again.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, now I can hear you.
Okay. I'm here.
Okay. Oh, no, I was saying that I think that she probably grew up around the same time. I may be a little bit older than her. I'm not sure. But I grew up completely opposite. My dark-skinned relatives and cousins were treated like royalty because my lighter-skinned mother and grandmother knew and understood colorism. We didn't have a name for it back then. But they understood what it was. And I never understood how come, because we, like the lighter skinned ones, we were like, you know, chopped liver compared to them. They were told that they were beautiful. They were gorgeous. They were always propelled in front of us. And at first I didn't understand it. And then one day my grandmother said, there's going to be a time you'll understand this much later, but your darker cousins, I don't want to say their name or anything, they're going to have harder times in different settings, because they're not you guys' color. So I don't want them to feel bad, because the world is going to make them feel bad. I'll never forget that conversation. I didn't understand it at that time. I still felt like, oh, they just like them better than us, because, you know, they were given nicknames like, you know, chocolate cake and chocolate fudge. And they would always, you know, call them all these sweet names and stuff like this. And they didn't tell us that we were as pretty as us. And I don't think they meant to like ruin our self-esteem, but they knew that the outside world would treat them differently. And so by the time that I was a teenager, that's when I got a chance to see it firsthand myself, that they would get, that men treated them different, boys treated them different, people. And, you know, even me being, you know, I'm considered, you know, I'm a light skin or whatever, but I've had friends that were way lighter than me, who I actually experienced it, even though I know I could never experience on the level that you have. But being someone that is at least her age, I would think she would have an understanding of that. And I do agree with you that she was being more so, you know, using you to push her brand. See, this is how, you know, women like me act, and see, we don't act like this dark skinned girl over here.
Exactly. That's exactly, I couldn't have said it better myself. And the thing is, the Black man that made the statement, he gave her the green light, which again proves the whole reason behind me starting dark skin activism was to gain the acceptance of the Black man. And that whole scenario that played out proves that. You understand what I'm saying? It proves it's exactly what I've been going through, especially starting in high school. It's the exact, again, the only difference is I was so quiet. I know y'all don't believe that, but I never used to talk. I was very introverted. The only difference is I'm very outspoken now. And it's just really sad. It's just really sad that she would do that. I sat there and I watched her body language when I was talking, and she was smirking. She's sitting up there.
I saw that. With each insult, I saw that.
Yeah, you're not really about dark skin empowerment or dark skin equality. You're not about that. You're about pushing your brand. And again, I don't have a problem with people pushing their brand, but I'm a person, I like sincere people. I like stuff that comes out of or something organic and real. If it ain't real, I'm not going to really care too much about it. And right. I just didn't see that. You can't use my real life struggle that I've been through hell and back. Thank God I used to get in fights in school. I was suspended from school. I was a high school dropout. I went through a lot of hell for this dark skin thing. I used to, I remember that stuff. I remember being on the school bus, getting off the bus, fighting with people all the time, fighting boys and girls. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to be, my nature is calm and peaceful. It really is. But when people keep attacking you and bringing you foolishness, at some point you're gonna lash out and defend yourself. So for a person to try to reduce it down to, like you said, I'm paraphrasing what you said earlier, look at how this manly dark-skinned woman acts and look at how this light-skinned woman acts, therefore you all need to take my class. That's insane. You can't do that. You're trying to reduce my life experience. And that's the reason why I became upset with her. Well, I didn't know who she was before I came onto the panel. In fact, I was asked to come onto the panel. I didn't know what the hell was going to go on. I was just, I guess.
Okay, the only reason why I knew. Your sound is out, honey.
Check 1 2. Mic check 1 2.
Okay.
What is going on?
There you go.
Okay. All right.
Well, the only reason why I knew who Nicole was because I was following, because people, when all that wife school stuff came up, people were talking about the different women, and I was somewhat thinking of blogging about how the different ways that people capitalize off of Black women financially, and she came up, and so I went to her page because and I went to her page not with a suspect. I just thought maybe she was a little bit different than the row, because perhaps there is some sort of need for women to be taught some things or whatever. My dad sent us to finishing school to learn how to, use the proper silverware and all that kind of stuff. So I went through that kind of stuff. So I thought maybe this is what grown women is for grown women or whatever that didn't get a chance to do this like right after elementary school. So that's what I likened it to. Mm-hmm. But when I went over there, what I saw was a lot of the things that are anti-Black women being said by a woman, like, and the way that it was carried off, like with like really bad grammar, like in females this and females that. And at first I thought it was a man's page that was just using a woman's avatar because of the way she was, the way that she was, saying females this and females that and all this kind of stuff. So I was trying to figure out, what the thing was. And so I literally just asked a question. I asked, was she affiliated with Ro Elori, which is the other wife, the femininity lady. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, was she married too? And she blocked me for asking those two questions. So which I found out she blocked me because I guess she doesn't like people to ask because she's not married, but she's, selling women, marriage and all this kind of stuff. And just so you guys know, this is not an attack on her. This is just like, and she wants to defend herself. That's fine. But it came off really wrong looking from the outside, really snarky. And just if you guys go back and watch this, and this is, nothing against O'Shea or anything like that, because I mean, it wasn't him at all.
It wasn't.
It wasn't O'Shea at all. No. It was the way, and I think once, like she said, once the first man threw the first stone, she knew that she could hide behind those men.
Yep.
she knew at that point there would be nothing that, you know, she could say that would be contrary to Rashida, that wouldn't be, you know, perceived as, oh yeah, you know, she's right. And like she said, with every insult they gave her, she grinned, she grimaced, and she kind of sat up higher. And like it was sickening to me. It was, and one thing, a lot of people, especially if you know me personally, one thing that I hate is seeing darker women marginalized, because I had, when I was in college and just in corporate America, in the workplace, I saw that shit firsthand, and I fucking hated it. I absolutely hated it. So it was just, it does something to my insides. So I'm really hypersensitive about that kind of shit.
Right. And again, I want to say once again to you, thank you for having me on here today to talk about this, because a lot of people wouldn't do it. They're not. The problem is the honesty thing. That's another frustration that I have, is people are not being honest. They, like you said, the marginalization of dark-skinned women. They marginalize your experience. If you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And that's why some dark-skinned women don't speak out. They don't say anything. You know, because they feel like, well, if I talk, then people are going to bill me as masculine. But if I don't say anything, guess what? I'm here to tell you, if you don't say anything and if you don't talk, you still gonna get called black in it. Like I said, in high school, in middle school, I used to be the most quietest, most introverted person. None of that shit helped. They still came for me. They still, like I said, and even in the workplace, they still will come for you. So that's the thing that negates this this femininity movement in regards to dark-skinned women. That doesn't work, because I have been the quiet, introverted, dark-skinned woman and still got attacked. So it doesn't matter. And another thing I want to say as well, people want to sit here, people call me ugly all the time. Okay, fine, whatever. I really don't care if you call me ugly. But yes, and they say, Rashida, it's not because you're dark-skinned, it's because of your features. Let me tell you something.
What? You have beautiful features.
People call me ugly. I'm just being honest. They call me ugly all the time. Okay, fine. Here's the thing, though. Explain to me why. Okay, let me give you a acceptable or pretty dark-skinned woman. Nylah. I remember watching a documentary that she did on being black. I think it was a doctor that did it, a light-skinned black doctor that carried out this documentary. I can't remember his name, but he's a well-known, I believe he's a psychiatrist. And Nylah was in there. And Nylah, who is considered a beautiful, acceptable, darker-skinned woman, even talked about having problems finding roles because she's darker skinned. So that lets me know, and she's not the only one. I mean, there's other dark-skinned women who are considered to be beautiful that still have issues because of their dark skin. So people can make the argument all day long that it's your attitude. Rashi, I done heard it all. Let me tell you, it's your attitude. It's your features. You can make all those arguments, but I know that dark-skinned women with nice attitudes, dark-skinned women who are considered pretty, they still have the same issues that dark-skinned women face in the aggregate. They still, going to my book, Token Dark Girl. Let me tell you who inspired that. Kimberly Reese. Kimberly Reese was the token dark girl of a different world. She was pretty.
Sure was. I almost forgot about that.
She was marginalized. Look, she was the poor one. She was smart, but she was poor. She worked at the pit. I talk about all this. I'm not trying to promote my book, but again, this is popping up in my head.
Promote your book. Promote your book.
In Token Dark Girl, I talk about Kimberly Reese. She had all these things going for her, being intelligent, being nice, but she was still marginalized. And they didn't say you're ugly, but they made it be known that the lighter skinned women, AKA Whitley, and her best light skinned friend who even took her man. Y'all remember that? Her light skin.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So she was a nice dark skinned woman with nice, pretty features. Explain to me, why did the show marginalize her? Explain that one. If Rashida is so damn crazy, explain that one to me. So
you know what? I do find that there is a movement now to pretend like, did the sound go out again?
I'm here. I can hear you. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I believe that there is a movement to pretend like a lot of what goes on with Black people as a whole just isn't exist. Like somebody was saying yesterday that white supremacy doesn't exist. And I've been seeing for the last like 6 months that colorism doesn't exist. And then I've seen like light, bright, close to white, high yellow people say that there's no such thing as light skin privilege. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? You know, like what the hell is really going on, and who is it benefiting but other light-skinned people to deny the existence of such things?
Right. And I couldn't agree with you more, because again, I think what's going on is this, and I have to say this. I think that because of people like me who are pushing the envelope with the colorism and darkism discussion. Shout out to Cola Booth. I gotta keep saying her name. Y'all gotta look her up, man. I love Cola Booth because she was the first person to advocate for dark skin.
Okay.
Back in the 90s. I love this lady with all my heart for that. I think that because people see that darker skinned people are getting attention for it, and lighter skinned people have been at the center of attention, and we know this is true for years. And dark-skinned people are standing up and saying, you know what? I'm not going to worry about if you say I'm jealous of a light-skinned person, because that's what my family used to use against me to get me to be quiet. Oh, you're just jealous of, I ain't going to say the person's name in my family. You just mad because your hair nappy and she got good hair and she light-skinned. You jealous. That's what they used to tell me. That's not going to work on me no more. So they see that they can't use those tactics anymore. So now what they're doing is saying, you know what? If we can't shut them up, we're going to kind of infiltrate. And since some people are very sincere. Some people are very sincere. I don't want to sit here and make a scene. I spoke to a light-skinned brother from the Nation of Islam the other day, had one of the most enlightening conversations. The brother is sincere. He understands. A lot of light-skinned people are sincere, but some of them are not sincere. And I believe that some of them are doing this to take the attention off of the real issue that needs to be addressed with the darkism in the Black community. Because make no mistake about it, this thing is a global thing. All you got to do is look at Africa. If anybody looks at Africa and don't say that Africa is probably one of the places where darkism impacts Black people the most, and I ain't talking about just relationships. I'm talking about socioeconomically and politically. All you got to do is look at the wars that are taking place over there. Look at the famine that is taking place over there. Look at all the violence that is taking place in Africa. Anybody that says that darkism doesn't exist and that we don't need to focus on that, you're selfish and you're out of your mind. And you should.
Absolutely. Hang on a second. Hey, guys, we have about 221 people in the chat room and not enough likes. If you haven't already, can you go ahead and hit that like button and share this? We are on with Rashida Strober, the first undisputed queen of dark skin.
Thank you. I gotta laugh, but yeah, that's another thing I want to say, because I wanted to kind of touch on this. Yes, the dark skin activism started with me. I'm being honest. I wanted me a Black man. I wanted them to pay attention to me, find me beautiful. But the larger issue is when I was in graduate and undergraduate school, my undergraduate degree is in history, and my graduate degree is in political science. So I studied the colorism scholarly literature. A person named Dr. Margaret Hunter, who is a light-skinned woman, she's done excellent work in the field of establishing the colorism scholarly literature. I spent a long time studying it. And what I saw was that there was a lack of focus on specific dark skin issues. Also, shout out to, her name is on the tip of my tongue. She coined the term colorism, Alice Walker. Shout out to her for coining the term. The problem that I saw is that the focus wasn't on dark-skinned people and what they go through on a political, a social, and an economic level. Because darkism impacts a person's education, a person's money, a person's marriage and social standing. Darkism impacts all areas of human existence. And I didn't see a focus on those things. And that bothered me when I even looked at my life living down here in Florida. I had been experiencing darkism in a lot of areas of my life because, you know, down here is mainly white people and Black people, but you got the racism coming from the white people. And then you got the darkism coming from the Black people. And it's like this double whammy. and it can
So,
be.
Rashida, let me ask you a question about that.
Yes.
Have you had problems where you have been in situations where you've seen a white person treat a less qualified or even less cooperative light-skinned person better than they treat you?
Oh, absolutely. Let me give you an example. I talk about this example in my book, Darkism. Well, I used to work at a company where I was a recruiter. And there was at the corporate headquarters, which was absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. One day I went to the headquarters. I had been promoted from one position to another position, but I was trying to move up. But I felt like it was this barrier for me to move up higher in the company, which is why I kind of stop dealing with corporate America, because I saw the darkism going on there. So they would only have me working at a certain level with the so-called low-class people. I don't see anybody as low-class, but I saw what they was doing. One day I got the opportunity to go to the corporate office, which was absolutely beautiful, which was an absolute 360 from where I was actually working at. And lo and behold, I saw a light-skinned biracial person there that was supposedly representative of the minorities. And when I saw that, I immediately knew, I see what's going on here. And at this particular job, they didn't want to have too many all the way black looking people in the forefront. So they would put them in the back and have them kind of like off to the corner. And in order to, because the majority of the company at the lower level, it was made up of it had a lot of black people that was working there. So they wanted to kind of make it seem like we're not discriminating. So, they would promote a few tokens that they felt like would do what they want them to do. And that's where my introverted nature came in at, because when I'm at my job and I'm working, I'm actually a very focused person, very quiet, and I'm there to do the work. And so that's what got me promoted. But when I tried to go up to the next level, it never happened. And when I went to the corporate office, I saw why this was going on. So this type of thing is very subtle. It's not something that, if you're not really paying attention to what's going on, you might not catch it until you start trying to move up. And this also happened to me in graduate school, believe it or not. I had to bust my way up through the doors to get into the graduate program, and I saw the effects of darkism and colorism going on right in the graduate program at the University of South Florida. It was there. I caught hell there. So absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
And I wanted you to speak in your own words about one particular thing that I saw thrown out there that I think that they misunderstand. And I'm pretty sure I have a grasp on what, and on what it meant or whatever, but I don't think that the audience or a lot of the panel understood this point. But and in context, for people that are slow in the comment section, Rashida, and I remember the day you got divorced because your crazy ass went on Facebook and you made a video and you cracked me up. So I remember the day your divorce was final. You made the funniest video. But she's been married for the last 10 years to a dark-skinned man. So, and I think I would assume that there was a bit of a separation before the divorce, right?
Right.
So now she is with a man who was lighter skinned. And the panel took that point also to use that as a way to attack her, and to the joy of old girl too was laughing about that too. But can you explain that it is not contradictory for you to activate for dark skin to do activism for dark-skinned women, and that it's not counter to your activism to be with a man that is lighter skinned? Can you explain that?
Thank you. And you are one of the first people that understand exactly where I'm coming from with this, because I've said so many times, the dark-skinned woman, and I'm not saying this in the sense of just giving dark-skinned women passes to just do whatever and misbehave and do stupid stuff. That's not how the context that I'm saying this in. But the dark-skinned woman is not on trial regarding dating and marriage choices. Darkism, dark-skinned activism, is about taking a woman that's always been at the bottom, especially over here in America and worldwide, in terms of dating and marriage, and saying, hey, black man, can you see us as equally beautiful as non-dark-skinned women? So the dark-skinned women are not on trial in regards to choosing or attacking non-dark-skinned people. It's not dark-skinned women that's doing this. So it's never been a contradiction for me to say I will date or marry a black man that's light-skinned, brown-skinned, or dark-skinned, because it's the black man. If we really are honest.
Hold on one second, because I see some remedial bullshit going on. Listen, if you think that having a conversation about something that happens and affects Black people, specifically within art, because there's a such thing as a caste system, pick up a fucking book. If you think it's divisive to have the fucking conversation, take your remedial ass back to your struggle channel and have the conversation the way that you want to have it. But we're going to have it the way that we want to have it. If you don't like it, just go on about your business. Like, seriously. And nobody is putting Black people into categories, acknowledging that we are of different skin tones and acknowledging that we also have experienced some systematic mental problems due to that is not a problem. But if you're too stupid to fucking grasp the concept, Nylah can't help you. Please go ahead, Rashida.
Oh, thank you. No problem. What we got to understand is that dark-skinned women have been at the bottom, and dark-skinned women are the ones that get chosen last by Black. Right. That's the key here. I have never said with dark-skinned activism that a dark-skinned woman should not date or marry a dark-skinned, brown-skinned, or light-skinned man. I have never, ever said that. If people are really paying attention to the platform, I've never done that. But the thing is, if we are really honest, and I really want people to listen to this because we know that this is true, dark-skinned women have been the most attacked women regarding beauty on the planet. So dark-skinned women are not on trial here. We're really not. So me dating a light-skinned Black man has never been the issue, because the goal of dark-skinned activism is to get Black men to see dark-skinned women as beautiful. Now, if you look at a dark-skinned man, for example, let's look at Black men in general.
Right, because you can accuse me of being a colorist because I don't, I've never like light-skinned dudes like that. I've never found them attractive. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, y'all could talk so I have the opposite problem. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And the thing is, if we look at, if we look at Black people as a whole, when we start to talk about the dating and the marriage thing, just going back to my high school experience, the Black men, whether they be brown skin, light skin, or dark skin, if they had certain things going for themselves, they could still get a woman. Because with a man, the power for them is not with their beauty. And I learned this from Dr. Margaret Hunter, who's a light-skinned woman. And she's absolutely right. She calls it social capital. Skin tone for a woman is social capital. That's why I'm saying the dark-skinned woman is not on trial here, because we're looking at the power dynamics in society of what is powerful for a woman versus what is powerful for a man. For a man, it's not beauty for a man. It's really their education and money. That's really what it is.
Now we live in a climate where they're socially engineering men to qualify themselves based on the same merit as women. So that's part of the problem too.
Right. And see, let me just say this. When a dark-skinned woman is walking down the street, a man does not know or care most of the time if you have a college education. They don't care if you got a master's degree. So what? The first thing that they're going to see when they look at you is how you look. And for some of these men, you could be very beautiful, but if you're too dark, they might pass you by. Again, going back to the people that say, well, Rashida, you're ugly. It's not, you're just ugly because you're ugly. It's not your dark skin. Well, I had a dark-skinned friend. She was very dark-skinned and she was very, very, very pretty. And I can't tell y'all how many times I saw Black men when we went out, when we went out to the club, went out to eat, I don't care where we were, they would choose our lighter-skinned friend who did not look as good as her over the dark-skinned woman. So that tells me that it's not necessarily, it's not about how pretty you are. It's not about, like I said, your college degrees or about how much money, even though that's an asset and it's going to help if you're a darker skinned woman. but it's really tied up in what is deemed as beautiful. And what's deemed as beautiful on a whole, light skin. Light skin is a form of social capital. It's a form of power. It's a form of women who are light skinned, like the woman Nicole proved, because the black men clearly took her side. They can go out in the world and they can use their social capital, their light skin. They can get the men. They can get the best of the black men. They can get the jobs, as clearly proven in the job that I was working in when I lived out in Los Angeles. They can get the education. I have stories about that at the University of South Florida. They can get anything they want utilizing their skin tone privilege, because light skin is a form of social capital. Whereas a dark skinned woman, you're going to have to come with a whole bunch of other stuff, okay, to get a man to pay attention to you, or to get, you know, a person in an educational institution, or a person in a job, or maybe it's been proven that darker skinned women get more prison time. You know, so many things, so many stereotypes the darker skinned woman is going to have to contend with that a non-dark skinned woman will not have to contend with. These are facts. I pointed out Basketball Wives. I got to talk about basketball. Look at who's on that show. They're light-skinned women. They are allowed to be ignorant, and they're making buku money off of it. Why are they even on Basketball Wives? Shaunie O'Neal, you're a light-skinned woman that I will be willing to bet your light skin played a part in you becoming Shaquille O'Neal's wife. I would be willing to bet every dime I got in the bank that your light skin, it was other characteristics, obviously, but your light skin played a part in that. Okay. Evelyn Lozada has a nasty attitude. She's mean-spirited, all of that. But
yes, she is.
She's been able to get all these wealthy baller black
and like the Cardi B's of the world and stuff like that, they are allowed to, even like with the incident that just happened with the apartment in St. Louis, that white woman was doing that and allowed to like to do that without much confrontation from the brother. And even after, you know, after all of the disrespect that he received by her, after her treating him like he was some sort of super predator that did not belong in her building, he still protected her in the interview, you know, saying, you know, don't, you know, she's a nice person, don't attack her and all this. Can you imagine if you or I had been out there doing that to a black man?
It wouldn't go over. It was just, it's never fair. It's never fair. We are never treated fairly. We're never treated fairly.
You know what? I know you have, I know you said you had a limited amount of time. And so I want you to go ahead and shout out your book. And then I want to take a few questions if we can, just a few. And I want to, just 1 second, I want to, somebody just said something real dumb. I think people come here to get cussed out. I'm starting to believe that y'all crazy and like to get cussed out. But I think somebody, oh, okay. So this guy, David Johnson, says, so dark-skinned women only want celebrity niggas. Why are you saying that? Like, in what world do most of us even get exposed? And I can't speak for being a dark-skinned woman, but how many celebrities are you exposed to, Rashida?
Not many.
Right, like that's crazy.
It's not about wanting a celebrity man. That's not the type of person that I am. I'm not going out here saying, "Ooh, let me go find me somebody that's a NFL player." It's about what we see.
That's not the time out.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. It's about what's actually going on. It's about the real reality. The reality is that I got to go back to Basketball Wives because they're providing an example. If you look at those women on that show, they're there because, like you said, they were in those circles because, in my opinion,
because of their light skin.
And then that put them in a position, in an economic and social position to move up. They're on television, being viewed by millions. I'm pretty sure they're making a lot of money. They're able to build their brands because of the position that they are initially in, which is going back to Dr. Margaret Hunter's idea of social capital. They were able to use their light skin as social capital. That's just what it is.
One of the guys on the panel actually spoke to what you just said. He said, I believe this was Information Man, said that his mom is very, very light skinned. And she says either she was taught or somebody else in the family was taught that because they were light skinned, they did not have to get educated. All they had to do was look pretty because somebody would marry them. So like he spoke that truth. Like he said, like he validated everything that you're saying now. And no, and I know I know some of you motherfuckers down there are slow. We know that all black men don't practice colorism. We know that, you know, and all that kind of stuff. So we're not saying all, but we're saying that it is enough of this going around for it to be notable and noticed. I've noticed. I'm a lighter skinned woman, and I've noticed it happen to dark skinned women. I've had men say shit to me about darker skinned women on the strength of their complexion. So I know some of y'all are just being disingenuous. Right. I've worked in corporate jobs where little hints of stuff were said about women who were dark skinned by other people that I had to, and I'm always running off at the mouth that I sometimes got in trouble about saying something about. I was in a situation where even with my complexion, with what would be considered a safe complexion, I was a little kid. And one of my friends, she was, her dad was half white. So she was very light. So we're in the store. I ain't doing shit. This bitch stealing. She stole a candy bar. And I didn't even know it. But when we walked out the store owner grabbed both of us inside because we were together. And guess what he told her? He told her, you stop hanging around her and you probably will stop. You'll do better. I know your parents raised you better. And then he told me, I hope your parents bring the belt. I didn't understand it as a child. Why he thought I was the bad one. I wasn't the one with the candy bar in my pocket. You know, I wasn't the one that I didn't know she was stealing, but he automatically admonished her of all problems because she looked more like him.
Right. That's darkism.
She looked more like him. So of course.
Yep. You're right. That's darkism. That proves exactly the Villanova study that showed that dark-skinned women, I'm glad you said that because you actually proving that their point. The study found that dark-skinned women get more prison time. I mean, it's just, I don't understand how people can sit here and hear example after example after example of darkism, dark-skin discrimination, and pretend that it doesn't exist. If you're listening and you hear an example after example, and you're just in denial. You just don't want to be an honest person. And that was the entire problem with most of the people on the panel. They just did not want to be honest. And that was my issue with the guy that was speaking. He kind of got defensive with me, the one that led off the discussion. And I said to myself, this man knows all of the problems. He was actually very articulate about it. And I was just wondering, why then didn't you consider having a darker skinned woman? That's what I think to myself sometimes. I think these men, they know what the problem is. Same thing with some of the scholars out here. Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop. I know I'm going off on a tangent a little bit, but Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop is one of the people that I really admire and respect because he did a lot to prove that the Africans, the ancient Egyptians, were actually black people. But I was just very disheartened and very upset to learn that this man was not married to a black woman. That actually breaks my heart when I see this. Like, it's very I told you I was a sensitive person. I take stuff to heart.
Exactly. Shannon just said something. Shannon Allen just said people want to limit this to dating, and it's just not dating. And you know, that's my problem with this whole conversation. People can't go beneath the surface of these conversations. It's not just dating. It's not just relationships. This is work. This is everything.
There you go. It's in schools. Like you said, it's it's in the workplace. It's in the grocery store. Let me tell you, you could just go in. I done had customer service problems with people ever since I think I was a teenager. They will treat you differently. They won't smile at you. Cola Booth talked about that. How I remember the story that she told about when she was a little bit girl. She would go to the store with some of her lighter skinned friends, and the men would buy them candy, but they wouldn't buy her candy. People don't smile at you. People say hello, how you doing? This doesn't happen. I mean, I'm sensitive. It makes me so upset. I wouldn't do that to somebody else. I don't care what color you are. And I've worked in the service industry.
And I have another question for you, Rashida. And then I want you to let everybody know about your book and your upcoming stand-up. What do you think about darker skinned women who are promoting having children with white men or lighter skinned men to have obviously lighter skinned women. I mean, lighter skinned children. What do you think about the promotion of having mixed children as a way to, or you know what? I won't say that because I'm not in that position. So do you feel like when you see dark skinned women promoting unions to non-Black men, for specifically for having children and stuff like that, do you feel like it's them trying to escape darkism, or what's your take on that?
Right, that's a great question. I think it's genocide. I understand and I empathize with some of them and where they're coming from, because I know it's coming from a place of pain and hurt for some of them. But it's genocide. It's genocide, and it's weak. The reason why I believe it's genocide is because what are you doing? I mean, you're a dark-skinned woman. You getting with a person that's not Black, especially if you get with a person that's not Black, you know that you're going to have a biracial child. For example, Serena Williams, who I adore Serena Williams, but I don't agree with her marriage choice. It's genocide.
Yeah, I agree.
Straight up. I mean, there's no other way that I could put it. And then when I look at myself and all the things that I've gone through with Black men, who some of them have not treated me right, who've obviously inflicted darkism on me. Let me tell you something. There's no way on God's green earth that I would not marry or date a Black man. I only date and marry Black men. It's just as simple as that. Because when I look around the world and I see the destruction of the darker skinned people, not just in America, but all around the world, I can't do that. I can't be the person that contributes to genocide by marrying and dating and having children outside of my race. So what I would say to those dark-skinned women that's doing that, that's not the way to go. You're not solving the problem.
Right.
Other Black women to go marry non-Black men, you are a part of the problem. Stand in and face it head on. Deal with the problems that we have within our community, and let's solve it.
We got to deal. We all have to deal with it, because we all have to be there to get. We all are in this together, and there is no escape. There's no escape from it for any of us. So it is better for us to try to. I mean, there's obviously a problem, you know, across so many boards between Black men and Black women, between Black people as a whole. Like, you can't say that we have been through all that we have been through for the last couple of centuries and 50 years outside of the civil rights movement. Now we're all healthy minded. No, there's a lot of stuff that we've carried over that we haven't, you know, digested and unpacked yet. So we're going to have there, you know, we're going to hit some rough passage. And to the person in the comment section that keeps saying, well, y'all haven't said any solutions. It ain't a motherfucker on YouTube that's giving solutions, because if there was a solution, it wouldn't be no more discussions about this. All of us are making suggestions. Okay. We're making suggestions. None of us are experts. There are no experts on YouTube that have solved the plight of Black people. Okay. So nobody is giving suggestions on YouTube. All we're doing is making suggestions based on our limited understanding. So to try to detract from the conversation by saying that we're just talking, that's every conversation going on amongst Black folks everywhere. So stop it.
Right. You're right. You're absolutely right. Are you still there?
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to go ahead.
I didn't know if we lost the sound again, but I agree. It's all about contributing to ideas towards a solution. My solution is this, and I've said this from day one. I believe Black people need to marry each other. We need to come together and get married, because the family unit is the foundation of a society. It starts with the family. So, you know, I believe that more Black people, Black men and women, we need to marry each other. The marriages that are already in place, we need to work on those marriages, keeping them in place, and raise healthy families. Just try. I mean, we did this before the civil rights movement. You know, the era of the Reconstruction, you had a lot of Black marriages. So I know that it's possible for us to do it again and do it at a higher level. That's what I want to see. I want to see our young people, the kids that's coming up. I want to see them understand that you are supposed to love and appreciate your Black men and your Black woman and come together. That's really what I want to see, to be honest with you.
Right. Sounds good.
That's what I want to see. So with that, I don't want to give away what my play is all about. I don't want to give away the ending. Oh my God. It's called A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. I know it sounds bad, but the revenge is not really what you think it is in terms of being something that's bad. But it's the first time, November 17th, I'm going to be performing it. This is the first time I've ever did it live stream pay-per-view where anybody anywhere in the world could watch the play. I've been performing the play since 2006, and I'm going to be.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I mean, I've been putting in work for years and years and just touring it and trying to be as in many places as I can. But November 17th, I'm going to be filming it in Atlanta, Georgia at Playback Sound Studios, which is located at 675 Metropolitan Parkway, Suite C112. But people can come out. If you're in Atlanta, you can definitely come out and see it live. But if you're not in Atlanta, you can watch it live stream pay-per-view. And that just means you just go to the website and it's organized really neatly. I try to do it as organized as I possibly can, where people can purchase their live stream tickets if they live wherever in the world. And then there's a section where people can purchase tickets if they live in Atlanta. So yes, that's Saturday, November 17th. I'm gonna be performing A Dark-Skinned Woman's Revenge. I play 5 characters. It's gonna be off the chain. I absolutely cannot wait. And I hope people watch it from anywhere in the world. You can watch it, just get your tickets. And real quick, I also want to say I'm going to be doing a Darkism talk, which I've been doing Darkism talks for years. I'm going to be doing it at the Ancient African History Museum the day before the play, which is on Friday, November 16th, at the Ancient African History Museum, which is also located at 675 Metropolitan Parkway, Suite 3118-B. And all the ticketing information for the live stream show, the in-person Atlanta show, and the Darkism talk can be found at my website, which is darkskinactivist.com.
Awesome sauce. Thank you so much. I really, really did appreciate this. I hope to have you back again. I am definitely going to be tuning into your live stream because y'all, this woman is hilarious. She needs to be doing stand-up somewhere.
You know what?
Wait, it was one day. It's one of your videos. I'm gonna tell you offline. I screen recorded it because I was afraid you was gonna delete it. It's so damn funny.
Oh my God.
Like I look at it too late because your ass was going in. You are so funny. You are so funny. So everybody, shout your channel out too.
I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm genuinely shocked. I'll be so serious with what I'm not trying to be.
No, I felt you was serious, but you know you have a little bit of a comedic side to you too. I do that too. Like I'll be mad as hell, but insert some comedy in my anger. And I saw that in you too. But girl, I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really, seriously, I do, because I got a lot of pain in me, to be honest with you. I'll be dead ass. I'll be so damn mad. And I'm so happy that people are listening, because let me tell you, it took a long time it's very hard to get people to listen to what you're saying. And my family used to always tell me how crazy and jealous I was, and I need to shut up about dark skin. So it's actually an honor. I'm very happy and honored that people like you and other people are actually just listening to what I'm saying.
No problem. No problem. I wanted to tell you, I found out that Madam C.J. Walker, and you can do the research on this, she may have actually been the first dark skin activist. So she literally created some sort of society specifically for dark skin.
Oh wow! Uh-oh! Uh-oh!
So you might want to check her, girl. You might want to check that out. But you guys, thank you for tuning in for this live Sleeper Cell Part 5 will be up in a few minutes. And also, I want you guys to tune back in tomorrow at 12:30, because on Fridays here on my channel is Daddy's Day. We talking to Black daddies every Friday on this channel. Come and get in and listen in and talk to these Black fathers, talk about how they get down in their neighborhoods with their families. So thank you again. You want to shout out your channel one more time before we get off the air?
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. It's Dark Skin TV, Rashida Strober, and the website is darkskinactivist.com. And thank you very much. I appreciate y'all for watching and for having.
No problem. No problem. Thank you. Shout out to all my mods. I want to do special shout out to who we got in here. We got Shannon, Dennis, Sabrina, Water Sniper, Miss Cardio Queen, King McD, Anthony Lewis.
Hey, you got here too.
Guys.
I just saw him in there.
Who's that?
I saw O'Shea in here. He's in there.
O'Shea is in here? Yeah. Hotep, nigga.
Shout out.
What's up, O'Shea? You need to be a dark skin activist too. He needs to be one too.
Yes. Thank you, O'Shea, for everything. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you for joining the chat, O'Shea. All right, then. Thank you, guys.
That was awesome.
It was, girl. It was.
Thank you. I